welcome back to the Central Kentucky Television Christmas Spectacular 2013. Yeah. I'm here with Beth and Yvonne celebrating this great holiday.
Yes, indeed. Gary, I think back when I was a kid with some of the toys and stuff that we got at Christmas time, and then I look at what the kids are asking for today, and it's like, ooh. So am I thinking about the good old days? Is that?
I got an angel tree gift I picked up yesterday at church, because they still had some that they needed. And, and I was thinking, okay, well, they'll want, a pair of socks, gloves, jacket, whatever, something.
Right.
There's an Xbox on this angel tree.
Oh,
so I'm putting that one back.
Yes. Well, I've heard several people say the same thing about that particular angel tree and all that. And this year, the angel trees angels that we took from the angel tree, we were told up front that the kids would not be asking for bicycles this year, which was a good thing, because that puts a lot of pressure on people to think that they have to buy for your own kids, and then you got to buy another child an Xbox when you may not even be getting your own kids Xboxes this year.
Xbox.
I don't have one of those myself. And then there was the music, not iPhone, iPods. They want iPods, and those usually run over $100. So it's a little difficult to be able to do the angel tree thing. But what we did get was a lot of clothing for a lot of kids this year too.
Well, I saw an angel tree at a dollar store. Maybe it depends on where you go to your angel tree, because what they had on their angels was 9-month-old female. Left a lot of, a lot of 12-year-old boy,
Right.
So,
and that's kind of what I was expecting.
Yeah.
Yes.
I like them having suggestions. I think the one I ended up getting actually was a board game. I like board games for a 9-year-old boy or something like that.
Sure.
So that's good, because I like board games.
Speaking
I'm enjoying getting that
of
anyway.
board games, that's another sort of tradition. Were board games something that happened at home when you went home? What board game was the most popular through the years, or did it change?
Well, I'm sure it's changed. However, for the past several years, we like to play Scattergories a lot. Do you ever play that one?
Yeah, I played that before.
We played that a lot, and but then before that, we used to play like Trivial Pursuit when that was in like the 80s. So it kind of has changed over the years. At this Thanksgiving, we continued that tradition, because we usually play games afterwards. We played Scattergories.
That one, you can involve so many people at the same time.
Yeah.
My family got into I won't say bad habit, but a habit of playing Risk.
Oh, I like Risk.
It's a fun game, but you can only
have
get six or eight at the most, and it goes on for hours. They'll be up till 3 o'clock. The next game day, the board is still on the table,
but it's fun to get world domination.
It is.
Oh, gee. Now, I can't remember us ever playing game. Well, when I was a kid, maybe we played games, because we get games for Christmas. But as adults, we didn't normally play games at Christmas time. It was more talking and relating, communicating,
cleaning up,
looking at what you got and sharing it with everybody. It was more like that. It was more conversational than it was sitting playing games. And then, like I said, in the afternoon, there's always a Christmas movie that starts Christmas Day. So all the kids,
a new one
that would start for the year. So they always go to the movies in the afternoon, to see the new Disney movie or whatever that was out.
Right.
So
wonder what it is this year. Have you heard?
And I can't remember the name of the new Disney movie.
The new Disney movie? Frozen?
Frozen.
Is it Frozen? Oh, that'll be good.
Yeah, Frozen.
That'll be good.
I've heard good things about that one.
Yeah, I have too.
Yeah.
And,
I'm looking forward to the Tom Hanks one about the Mary Poppins.
Yes.
Saving Mr. Banks.
Saving Mr. Banks. I think that's going to be a good one too.
Yeah, I like Mary Poppins.
I do too.
Yeah, I like the movie, and I like the music for Mary Poppins.
Yeah.
We sang that a couple times.
I doubt they'll do that music though. I mean, maybe they will. Do you think they will? Because it's like telling the background of how he got this.
Right. I think that'll be interesting.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see how they did that. Of course, I'm enjoying the TV shows right now that revisit fairy tales.
Mm-hmm. Once Upon a Time.
Once Upon a Time, and Once Upon a Time in Netherland. You know,
that was kind of creepy last night. You know.
Well, you know, I was afraid it was over. I was afraid it was going to be over. You know, it's like, how did they let Emma go? Because
Well, I
that'll be
haven't
the end
watched
of the
it yet,
series.
so.
Okay, sorry.
Poor Gary.
But it makes me want to try my hand at writing a fractured fairy tale, or you come up with something.
Do you remember the Fractured Fairy Tales
I
from
love those.
Rocky and Bullwinkle?
Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
Yeah, that was
remember
fun,
those.
too.
I wonder if
Those
they're
were
on
fun.
YouTube.
They
That'd be
probably
fun
are.
trying to find some of
Probably.
those.
They probably are.
My brother-in-law has the DVDs of all the different Rocky, and he loved Rocky and Bullwinkle as all
You
that.
know, I kind of like them myself. Yeah, Rocket J. Squirrel, yes.
And as an adult, you see them in a completely different perspective. So I mean, they're still good.
They're still good, yeah.
You know, one of my favorite cartoons are the Peanuts characters.
Right.
And in Lebanon recently, we had You're a Good Man, Charlie Brown,
Right.
which you know you got to see. And here we have a set of all of our Peanut characters, several of our Peanut characters. My sister, every year, gets me something to do with Peanuts. And for several years, it's been puzzles that I've made. I think some of them might be hung up here. And then for the past couple of years, my sister and my mom have gotten me this collection of the figures, and they all play music.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So like we have like Lucy here, who plays the flute.
Oh, the rest of them are joining in.
Isn't that cool? And Linus isn't joining in because Linus needs batteries.
Yes.
Oh, poor Lion.
Yes, poor
Do
thing.
you have his blankie with him?
No.
Oh, he doesn't.
See, that's why he needs batteries.
No
He doesn't have his
wonder.
protection.
Yes.
But she's playing the flute and the sax, and when they all start off with a different song, and then we'll join in. That's
Oh
very
my
cool.
gosh. It's so sophisticated now.
I know. It's a toy, you know, it's a toy, but it's like,
It must
really?
be a Wi-Fi thing, you know? It has to
Yes,
be a computerized
yeah.
Wi-Fi
They're
thing.
connected.
Yeah.
You don't see
Yeah.
any wires, you know?
No,
No, they're not connected to each other, and they're
Yeah.
connected somehow.
Psychic.
Screwed on the
Yeah.
piano.
Yes. Now, if you were going to buy a child a gift today, let's say
What age?
a 6-year-old, what would you buy a 6-year-old?
Male or female?
Either or.
Okay, I do art supplies. That's why I always head toward arts and crafty stuff, like Play-Doh or something,
They can mess with,
stickers. Yeah. I like to
6-year-old.
encourage
A 6-year-old,
creativity.
6-year-old boy or girl, what would you get him?
Well, normally a tradition that ended this year was the day after Thanksgiving, I would go shopping with my sister for my nieces and nephews.
Okay.
And normally I'd get them clothes because we'd go to outlets
Yeah.
and they had a really good deal.
Right.
But
Yes.
this year they're getting something different. So this year they're getting gift cards.
Yeah.
So that's why I would get a 6-year-old. And actually some of my great nieces and nephews, actually none of them are that young anymore. I think there's 7 is the youngest. So
7's about the
whatever.
youngest.
But so last year I was buying clothes when I was buying her a 6-year-old.
Yeah.
But then
It doesn't
too,
cost much for a little
I got iTunes cards for a bunch of them too,
Mm-hmm.
because they all have that too.
Yeah.
Right.
You know,
Right.
which they can use in various different things. It's a lot different.
Yes, it is. It's a little, and the gifts don't seem to be as warm and fuzzy as they used to be. You know,
For who?
For the kids.
Oh.
You know, you got them dolls, or you got the boys' trains and things like that.
Well, last Christmas, if you remember, there was a gentleman roaming the streets of Lebanon selling hats. They were animal hats.
I recall that.
yeah.
And you bought
I
that.
bought 4 or 5 of them, and those turned out to be a big hit for the group because
Good.
everybody put on their funny animal hat, and you know, all day long you're sitting there looking at a monkey or a dog or a cat. You know,
I know a guy who
sort of
wears
warm
one of
and
those.
fuzzy.
Yeah, that was atrocious. That just did nothing. Just did nothing for him at all.
But it was bonding for
it was
you.
bonding for us.
and it was conversational,
That's right.
and it was something where you say, don't take yourself so seriously.
Exactly.
You know, and you let your hair down a little bit.
Well, and there's
wear a hat.
always somebody in my family, and I won't mention who because it's not always the same person, but it does run through the family, where there's a little off-color joke somewhere played on somebody. That happens, and so that usually is very funny, and sometimes there'll be somebody that later is the gossip of the night. You know, could you believe he did so and so? Or so, you know. But
Too much wine at dinner, maybe?
I don't know,
Yeah.
because they think about it way in advance to pull it off, you
Oh,
know.
they pull pranks.
It's sort of a prank kind of thing,
Well,
Wow.
Yeah.
Now you were telling me about a new gift giving idea that you were hoping to
to start a
kickstart.
new tradition with.
Right.
And this might qualify as a slightly off-color idea in this respect. It's an apron that someone gave my father. That's Michelangelo's David without the head. If you can picture David.
So it's the torso and body of.
Torso and body, you know,
but then he,
on an apron.
yeah, but then it's supposed to have his head, it has the person's
The
head.
person
I
who's
guess.
wearing the apron's head, okay? So Daddy apparently did wear it at least once in the spirit of the fun of wearing a naked statue body.
Do you have a picture of it?
But it's
thing.
art.
No, it's art. And so I found it, and nobody else knew about it. So I wrapped it up and I sent it for Christmas to my brother-in-law, who's the only brother-in-law I have, and with instructions that he's to wear it at least once, and then wrap it back up and put it back in the the envelope, and next Christmas re-gift it to another male descendant of my father's. And they're all supposed to make a note of where they wore it, under what circumstances, and we're going to see if this tradition will take off, because he's got my older brothers, and then we have adult young men now. And you know,
Well, Beth, it sounds like you're picking on the guys, though.
well, there wasn't anything for the girls to do right now, and we'll have to. I mean, maybe somebody ought to take the hint and come up with something the girls can do.
You need a Lady Godiva apron or something.
Or a naughty nurse costume or something.
Yeah, French maid.
Yes, indeed. Yeah, well, that's
So has he gotten
interesting.
it?
I've sent it. They should have gotten it today, but I don't know. You know, they won't open it till Christmas. And on the instructions, he's got an adult son. I put on the instructions not to let his son see it, because that apron will turn around and be hopefully sent back to him one Christmas.
Oh, so,
Christmas is a
okay.
different person.
So how old do you have to be in order to
I put
get this?
adult, 21.
Adult, 21.
Yeah, even, you know, so we'll see. It may not work. It may not get past Jay. But Jay's always been a hard one to buy a gift for. One year, I found a really cool looking rock. It was about so big.
Does it remind you of
They
anything,
lived in
Gary?
North Carolina, and I painted the Wallingfords on the rock and little flowers on it, and mailed them that rock.
That was a lot of postage.
I was
It
going
was
to
a
say, the
lot of
shipping would have been
postage. I should
expensive.
never, you know, I had no idea. That was like early on in my young
Creative.
adulthood, and I had no idea it was going to cost as much as it did ship. But he's gotten some pretty odd presents. And do you know, I think they've
She gave
lost
me a
that
rock.
Yeah.
They did they lost it?
They've moved 3 or 4 times, and I don't believe they've carried it with them when they moved. So it's somewhere in this world, and somebody, whenever they see it, will go, wonder who the Wallingfords
Wallingfords are, yeah.
I wonder who painted this beautiful rock.
Exactly.
And shipped
Piece
it.
of art. Piece of art. It's in a museum someplace, Beth. That's where it is.
That's it.
Have you been watching some of the Christmas movies?
You can't
This
miss them.
season?
You can. They started before Thanksgiving, and
They re-air.
They're constantly, you know. So you know, by the time Christmas is over, I don't know the dialogue for most of them.
What's the name of the actress that's been with the soaps for years and years and years, and they did a female version of Scrooge?
Susan Lucci,
Susan
yes.
Lucci. They did a female
Abby.
version.
Yeah.
That's a good one.
That's a
Yeah,
cute one.
that's a good one.
Cute.
I like
That's a
that
good one.
She does a great job in that.
Yes.
But yesterday I watched some of the older ones. They had, I think it was on, it was either on TCM or AMC. They had like a, no, older than that. Scrooge with Bill Murray. you mean?
Yeah,
No.
that was on recently.
Was it? They did a retrospective. It was like at the movies or something like that. It was Christmas movies through time, which was really a cool show. But then after that, they started showing some older ones, like 1940 olders, and they showed Holiday Affair. Have you ever seen
Who's
that
in it?
one?
Is
Yes,
Loretta
I-
Young?
Janet Leigh.
Black and white.
Yes, Janet Leigh and
I forgot
Robert Mitchum.
that. Oh, really?
Yes, I had never seen it before.
Was it good?
It was interesting. I kind of thought it was Janet Leigh had lost her husband and she had a kid, and then Robert Mitchum met one time, and they had this other guy that she had been dating for like the 2 years since her husband died, and he seemed like a nice guy, but she was just not interested in marrying him. But then Robert Mitchum comes along, and like 5 minutes later, she's ready to marry him. And I felt bad because the other guy was just nice throughout the whole thing, and they're at a Christmas dinner, and Robert Mitchum stands up and says, "Well, I think I'm going to marry her." I'm like, Who would do that?
Well, that's what they did back in the 40s.
Evidently.
You just said, I want to marry that woman.
The staging of isn't that interesting to watch in movies from
Yes.
the 40s?
Yes.
It's almost like it's a play on television, you know, the way they stage.
Well, I found myself watching a lot of camera angles.
Yes.
And they had one where they, excuse me, getting all choked up. They had one where they were in Central Park because Art Mitchum had moved out of his apartment or whatever, and she had to find him. Of course, Christmas morning, he's feeding stuff to a seal in Central Park.
Okay.
So they came along, and the camera was behind them, and they were sitting down at a bench and looking at each other, and it was just behind them, and the shot was literally 2 minutes long.
Oh, wow.
There was a
While
long
they're talking to each
While
other
they're
like
talking
this.
to each other. And then she would get up and she'd turn, and I know the staging had to have been odd for her, the way it was, but it didn't look bad.
Right.
But it's just like, a 2 minute shot's really a long shot.
Right.
And I was thinking, well, that's interesting. So I found myself, so yes, I like watching them for that reason too.
I do too. I love watching those older movies now, since I know some things to look for as far as dialogue and editing and
Clothing
whatever.
that they're wearing
You know, all the different things that's going on with it.
Technical elements,
The
yeah.
technical elements. It's really interesting to watch, and they were very innovative.
Yeah.
Very innovative back then. I mean, they did some really great shots.
And like in this one, which reminds me of, I think it's A Miracle on 34th Street, there are different times when they're telling the story, they'll have a letter, and you read the letter off of
Right.
it, which they don't do anymore.
No,
and that's
they don't.
technique, but they know how to do the texting. And I still have 20/20 vision. I just went to the doctor and
That's
told
not what
that.
I heard. That's not what I heard.
Well, I used to have 2015,
Okay.
which was even better, and now it's 20/20, but it's still good.
You're
But
going down the
anyway,
tubes.
I know. You hit 40 and everything falls apart. But anyway, they put those texts up on TV.
Right.
You know, and maybe my TV's not big enough. I can't read those texts. It's hard to,
Yeah.
you know, I have to, because usually while I'm watching TV, I'm doing something else, and it's like a distraction. Like, just talk. You know, tell me what that thing's saying. I don't know what happened.
Well, usually
it's important information sometimes.
It's just music. There's certain music that goes
cues
on,
you in.
that cues in to let you know that there's something different going on. In case you're in the other room, you need to run in here right quick and watch this.
I like
But
the
like
way
in
they
this
would
movie, it was
fade.
big
things.
text.
Yeah.
Right. I like the way they would fade to something like that and have dark edges all around it. You don't see that anymore either. You
Right.
know.
Well, in the romantic scenes, you ever watch where the water hits the rocks? Or water rolls over the rocks, you know, in the romantic scene, so that you don't
See what's going on.
see what's going on.
See the romance.
You can only imagine
yeah,
what's
yeah,
going
yeah,
on
yeah.
there, and I'm thinking,
Like from here to
this
eternity.
water is hitting these rocks quite a bit here now.
They're enjoying themselves.
Yes,
They're going to be
they
really wet.
Or really clean. Some really clean people.
That's funny.
Yes, indeed.
Yes.
But as a little girl watching that movie, because Saturdays and Sundays were movie days, you know, on bad weather days when you're a child. And I remember Loretta Lynn, and of course Shirley Temple, and the other movies, the rabbit one, the
Loretta Lynn.
Loretta Young.
Loretta Young, okay.
But anyway, all that kind
White
of
Rabbit.
jokes, you know, the White Harvey,
okay.
all those kind of comp jokes, you know, like the water going over the rocks, goes over your head when you're a child, just you know.
Didn't go over mine. I knew something was up.
Well, speaking of that though, they did go over my head because yesterday too.
It's still going over his head.
Yeah, so, I'm still under the water. I watched some Laverne and Shirley, which I had not seen in a long, long time.
Right. I
love them.
That Laverne and Shirley. And my sister and I used to watch them all the time when we were kids. We actually go up to my mom and dad's sitting room and watch it, you know, because they had it like on TBS or something like that all night long, whatever. And last night when I was watching it, there are a lot of innuendo and jokes. I'm like, I don't remember it being like
Exactly.
Now I knew what they meant.
You know what Squiggy and Lenny were up to, huh?
Well, like Laverne was saying, I'm going to go up and change the sheets on her bed. And Shirley's like, why are you going to go up there and change your sheets? She's like, well, just in case he was like, I forget what she said, but I'm like, that's not why you're changing those sheets. I'm thinking, I didn't think they video do. Like, wow.
I know.
What do you think Carmine was hanging around for here?
Aging is a weird thing. How it just opens your eyes. You can
perception's
relive
Yeah.
scenarios and get something new out of it every time.
Exactly.
Yes.
But stay with us here on Central Kentucky Television for our Christmas Spectacular 2013. We'll be right back.